Good afternoon, grazers. Today is the 12th of March here in southern Missouri, and it was 83 degrees today, and wanted to just give an update. I don't think I've put anything on in about a month or something like that. So it's not spring yet, it's still winter by the calendar, but wanted to just kind of show this is a pretty, I would say, poor field in that it's never been super productive. It's going to get a full growing season rest this year, and we'll see how it recovers. So I am following the total grazing. Got the property divided up into thirds, and so 1/3 of the property is going to be my growing season grazing, and then there'll be 1/3 of the property that will be in stockpile, like you see here, and then there's going to be the other 1/3 of the property will be a buffer zone. So if we run into a drought or something like that, we'll move into that buffer zone, or if grass runs short, and then that'll give us a really good gauge, towards the end of summer, into the growing season. If we've gotten into that buffer zone, then we're depending on how much into the buffer zone we got, will determine whether or not we're understocked or overstocked, and make some management decisions from there. But we'll still have 1/3 of the farm for sure in stockpile. So I am going to make a guess, and I hate to even do that I'm going to have plenty of grass just by switching over, halfway through the growing season last year to total grazing, a more non-selective grazing. It's March 12th, and I still have 30-45 days of grazing ahead of me that I haven't even touched yet this winter. And so the section that we're in, if you look here close, the cows just took a bite off of this as they came in here. They're getting a mix of green fescue that's in here, obviously some old dried fescue that's in here, and then there's some warm season grasses and stuff in here as well. And so the cows are certainly spaced out. They've got plenty of room. Gut fill looks just fine, but some of the manure, is stacking up, and then some of it's really loose, and part of that's just not having adapted animals that can really do well on this, and then lactating animals in here as well. And so lots of management changes that need to happen for a better calving season, and then not having cows that are lactating coming out of winter, ideally, in the future. And so definitely, like I said, some changes that need to be made, but just wanted to give an update. So the one thing to talk about, I'm going to move this around here. One thing to talk about is in grass regrowth this time of year. And this year what I did was I really tried to keep track of when the grass stopped regrowing, and all the way into January 10th, I still had grass regrowing 3 days behind the cows. And so it wasn't until January 10th that I felt like I could, wait 5 days between, putting a back fence up. And so before that, every 3 days, I'd make sure that there was a back fence behind me. So now, we're only 2 months later, and if I didn't put a back fence up, as you can see right here behind me, I already grazed all of this over here. And as soon as I moved the cows over to this section right here, I went ahead and put this fence up to divide it. And I'm gonna see, don't know if you can see it or not in this video, But there is clearly a line, you know, along this fence where regrowth has already started. And so number one, to keep the cows from chasing that short grass and stunting the roots, you know, and the regrowth for our season-long stockpile, will stop them from moving or grazing backwards. And we'll look here. So it has been 4 days since they grazed this spot. But just as a visual there, you can see, you know, the little shoots of grass that are already coming out of these of the plants here. And so, and it's like that all over the field, right? The entire field is starting to turn green. If I let them regraze this right now, they're stunting the growth for this next year's winter stockpile. And I heard several years ago, and I've tried to take it to heart, is that you start growing 2025, 2026 stockpile in the spring right now. And so the decisions you make right now of letting cows graze backwards on this short grass will ultimately affect how much grass you're going to have in the winter time to stockpile. So springtime, you know, I really like winter because in some ways I feel like it's less stressful grazing stockpile. But once springtime even begins to start, you have to put that back fence up. And show you. So tomorrow we'll move over to this little section right here, and we'll finish this field out. And the tire water stuck earlier, so I don't know why that happened. I've been out here every day, but I can see. But anyway, the float was stuck in an open position because there was some buildup down here right on that ring right there. And so I unstuck it, and now we'll let this dry out before tomorrow, before they come up here to this section. But gonna work cows on Saturday, and so I'll make a lane that runs down through here all the way back up to the house, and it's nice and easy. So once your cows are trained to electric fence, it's a long way to run a lane. Really need to build one maybe this year, but we'll run. It's 3/4 of a mile from here back up to the house, and we'll take them up to the corral. We'll get them worked, and then we'll let them leisurely come back this way. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying some of this warm weather as well, and I hope you guys are growing grass sooner rather than later, and enjoy this weather.